So the Sports Journal slide is shared with you on Classroom if you want. Grady's so kindly linked in some stats there. You know, you guys have done a good job of bringing those statistics into our conversations here. So see, what do the numbers say right now? And then, as Grady asked, is that going to change moving forward, or is it locked in?
So, like, I'm gonna bring up the first question. Will there be like a dramatic difference in stats as the season moves forward? Like with that, like any of the lower name players, like Josh Jackson or like Lonzo Ball, or just any of them. You guys think?
I did the other one, so.
Alright.
I'll just pretend I did.
Yeah, I think stats very easily can change pretty fast. I mean, so Lonzo's shooting really bad now, but if he shoots relatively well for the next 55 games, I mean, that takes away the only knock on him through the whole season.
What I find really interesting about kind of this lesson and a lot of the other ones we've done in this class, as I mentioned, it's an elective class, and I've had a lot of these same students in English class, and you know, some of them are consistently solid in like the speaking and listening standards as an example. But today and in other classes, using that speaking and listening standard example, a lot of those students were much more passive in a normal English setting, and so if we had a discussion, they might just kind of, if it's about Animal Farm or Macbeth or traditional work, they're not really as engaged. They weren't able to demonstrate what they could do with that standard. But with the lesson like we had today around speaking and listening with that discussion, some of those students that didn't serve well in a normal English classes quite as well are consistently exceeding standard with speaking and listening, and some other ones too. So just that they're able to demonstrate what they know and can do with something that they're more interested in. And so it's a much better picture of the skills that they can do as opposed to just being tied to the content that's being assessed. Really do, now that we've done the Sports Journal, to do two pieces. One will be to prepare for and kind of think about what are some stories that we can see developing, and maybe as kind of getting more of our feet under us as sports reporters, maybe we can drive a story a little bit, ask some questions of people that will be in the Super Bowl today that might allow you to focus that into an eventual story that you'll write. And obviously the big goal for today will be to play the game, to see what happens, so that we have that information so that we can write those leads. So, first question. Who would like to start us off?
I would.
I saw a hand back here. So,
I got you, bro. Okay.
Mr. Hartsgrove from the Nokomis Journal. Go ahead.
So after your loss, Mr. M, you put an average of 62 points a game after your loss. How do you feel about being in FPL Super Bowl one?
Well, you know, it feels pretty good, I'd have to say, coming from the losers bracket after taking a tough loss in Mr. M. And hopefully we'll force a game two.
The second part of the lesson was really a culmination of something we've been doing over the last week or so, trying to build people getting sports reporters practice. And so with this lesson, they had done a lot of prep work kind of in a traditional way, looking at how to write what we call lead articles and to practice like the steps that go into that. But where in the past I designed kind of the way that those leads would work, I wanted them to have a shared experience for the summative piece. And so they worked through a media day where they created their own questions to think about what they would ask the athletes. So they had a lot of choice and ownership in that aspect. And also the kind of the Super Bowl that we called it that this led to was something that everybody had been engaged in the lead up to that. They all asked questions leading up to that. So the engagement was there and they felt that they were a part of it.
I really like how interactive it is. Like, we had the opportunity to ask the players in the championship game, like, it's like a media conference. I think that's pretty cool. It's very interactive with what we learn about in class. Yeah, I think everybody in the class is way more engaged. We are more involved. It's stuff we enjoy learning about. Like, we're learning how to write certain parts of like literature while we are enjoying it. So I think it's much more interactive and engaging.
I got your water if you need a refreshment.
Come on, bro.
Oh, so intense here. This is so intense.
Someone commentate. Grady commentate.
A lot of back and forth early in the game.
So you should practice for your game.
No.
You're commentating?
I am doing for the gym, yeah.
Rock comes up a
Oh!
little.
Hey, we need someone on the
us down.
Oh.
That's all.
No good.